welcome to another video. 2024 ETF for sale list video. I'm a little bit late putting everything together. I've been a busy son of a gun. Partially because last weekend I decided to patch some rust holes in the Suburban. Partially because there's a 21 CT55 chassis sitting over there that I have fully restored and modified for video input and all kinds of stuff that I've been working on since the very beginning of the year. So right now the set is operating on its internal tuner. It's tuning in channel 7. Now I'll demonstrate the video input. Right here I have a VCR that has a video output and a tuner. I'm going to tune the same RF channel. I have an RF output on this VCR that is not hooked up right now, and I have a composite audio video on this VCR that I'm going to hook up. This is the input jack pair and the control switch. This can be located just about anywhere convenient on the back of the set. You plug the video, which in this case is red, into the yellow video jack there. Plug the white into the audio. When the switch is on this side, it's in RF mode. When it's towards the input jacks, it's switched to the input. So let me make sure my VCR is on. And let me switch over to input. Enough about that. Let's talk to you about things I've got for sale. Editing Tom here. Wind ruined the audio in this portion, so let's dub it back in. The top set's in Motorola TS921, metal cabinet, 25-inch color table model. Works great. Antennas are brand new on it. Face bezel has been replaced. I have the original still that'll probably be included with the set. Below it sits a Norelco Protogram DuoView add-on projection end table unit. That projection end table unit has been gutted, and all that remains inside it, the Lochtel chassis that connects to the brightness and focus control potentiometers. So that chassis is still there, and probably just what Bob Anderson is looking for to make his DuoView complete, a less wrecked cabinet and that chassis. I have 3 protograms, and this is my least nice protogram end table, so time to bring the count down to 2. It's a close-up view of the Motorola. Set's a sod pill single tube chroma oscillator and high-level demodulator. Basically this and a couple of buffer tubes and a burst amp switch tube are really all that runs the color circuitry in this, so it's basically a monochrome set with a tube or 2 dedicated to color. So it has a tint control in there and a hue control up here. This Motorola is a pretty decent specimen for a set of its age. I have a spare face mask for this set. The one that's on it right now is off of a console. The one that it came with originally was wood grained on the plastic parts, but was a bit rougher than this one, so I ended up swapping for niceness. This gives you an idea of how gutted the protogram is. Protogram cabinet, I think I was looking for about $10 for it, or best offer. It's got to go. I forget what I was looking for on the Motorola. I think it was somewhere in the $100 to $200 range. Check the listing on Antique Radio Forum's Facebook group or Video Karma, where I posted all of this first, to get the full picture on what all is available and pricing of stuff. I actually was planning to keep this Motorola indefinitely because I'm never going to find another one of these in a metal cabinet like this. The only reason I'm letting it go is because another collector ages ago managed to buy from a estate sale that I had already kind of gotten an agreement on purchasing from a Motorola 23 EGP22 set. The 23 EGP22 picture tube was the first rectangular color picture tube. This one's a 25 GP22. The EGP is kind of infamous for being kind of mediocre. I'd really like to have an EGP22 set as a because of its historical significance. At any rate, this friend of mine managed to buy the thing from the estate sale, and they sold it to him because they thought he was me. And those estate sale people are not bright. At any rate, he's had it for a year or two now and has gotten tired of it and is going to sell it to me for a good price. And it's a sod pill set just like this. So rather than having two sod pill sets, and one of them being the first gen rectangular, which I want to have one example of in my collection, I'm going to have one set and let this one go. Unless, of course, somehow my friend stands me up or doesn't make it to the ETF, in which case I will hang on to this. I have to have one, so if the other set doesn't come to me, this one I'm hanging on to. Also, there's a friend of mine on the East Coast who might want this in trade for a roundie that I'm looking for, so. But if I get that other Motorola that I want at the swap meet, it should be there. This one's definitely going to get let go of. It's cool, I'm out of room and I can't keep everything I like, even if you've got to draw lines in places and figure out when you're running out of space, figure out what matters to you most. This is what ate up most of this year so far on my repair bench. That's going back to the customer who owns it and paid, or is going to pay for the restoration work I did on it. Got a couple boxes of TV channel knobs I'm going to bring so people can dig through and give me nickels and dimes. $50 two-channel oscilloscope that works pretty good. Some of the controls could use a little bit of cleaner here and there, but it functions if you rock them a little bit to clear that. Motorola VT71 cabinet and parts chassis. I'm looking for $10 on that. $15 for this B&K picture tube tester, restore. Wouldn't trust restoration on a unit this old, but it'll probably test just fine. Degaussing coil, I think I was asking $10 for that. Let's see here. These two TVs, we have a RCA 721 TS. It's been 90% recapped. There's about 3 lytics and 3 paper caps left in it. It's got picture and sound, although the sound wants to drift a little bit in terms of ideal fine-tuning position. Above it is a Stromberg Carlson. I potentially have a buyer in Bob Anderson already, but I don't know if he still wants it or not. If he does, I'll let him have it for whatever we agreed to before. If not, I think I'm looking for around $60-80, something like that on that thing. The metal rolling stand, I've got 2 of them, and this is my least nice one, so if you really want it pays to say RCA TV cart from a TV repair shop, that's $75. Right here we have a 34-inch Sony HD CRT set, KD-34XS955 is the model on this thing. Got the remote. This set works. It's 1080i native resolution. It has built-in HDMI input and an ATSC tuner in it. So it is full HD and ready to watch anything you would want to watch in HD on it, pretty much. This set has a small issue where on humid days it'll tend to red screen either randomly while it's on or at startup, and it'll go into emergency shutdown. I found that what I was doing up until I took it out of service is I was leaving the back unscrewed, reaching in with a screwdriver after it had shut itself off, tapping on the heat sinks on the neck board. One light tap usually is enough to get it back into normal operation, and then it just keeps going. The only reason I'm thinking about selling this set is I have recently acquired its higher featured brother, and I've already basically traded them out. This thing's still a good working set, and I'm happy to hang on to it for spare parts for the other one, or as a complete spare set for the other one. But if anyone wants to give me $200 for this thing, you've seen it in a number of videos on this channel. The DVHS video, the letterbox removal, all that good stuff. Speaking of DVHS, the new Sony HD CRT TV that's replacing this, I say new in air quotes, is very DVHS flavored, and there will be a video on that coming up at some point. Don't ask about the Roundy. It's going to probably be a few months before I would consider letting go of it or its blonde cousin that I've had significantly longer. I'm going to be doing some things with the two of them to make a very nice set. Before that's done, neither of them goes anywhere. Next up, we have the Zenith Panorama console. It's a 1975 model with Zoom. This is not the correct remote for it, and I do not have a remote that goes with it, but this remote will operate all the functions. So that's the zoom function. You can change channels, and there's power. I think I was asking $175 for this. It's or best offer. I do have someone who's interested. I'm not 100% sure if they've committed to buying it yet, as I think they need to evaluate whether it'll fit in their vehicle. But let's see here. I've got this RCA PX17 17-inch broadcast monitor. This thing's recapped and working. I've got a spare transformer and all the coils from another set, and there's a flyback that fell down somewhere that I need to retrieve. I was asking somewhere around $100 for this, I forget. This is a 1963 Packard Bell 98C6 round screen color television set. This one works pretty good as well. I haven't done full setup on it. I'm going to turn it off so I don't get a copyright strike on the audio. Or maybe I'll just plug the speaker wire. Yeah, that works. Okay, this set, I am missing the channel number plate. There is what's called a computer lights channel indicator. Basically, there's a band switch on the back of the tuner that controlled power to 12 different dial lights, and depending on which VHF channel you're switched to, a backlit number would appear in a different spot as you tuned around. That's missing. These two knobs are missing, the on-off volume, color, tint, brightness knobs, and the four on the bottom are missing too. I do have the tuning knob. That's on the tuner, which is inside the cabinet. The previous owner of this set, one Nate Craig of Southern Illinois, I went and picked up this and several other sets from him. He had all of those knobs and the number plate in a bag, and after we walked around his estate and agreed on some stuff to buy, he volunteered to haul this thing out on a dolly, and it's in the basket case state that he had it in, and he never grabbed the bag that contained those things. And 6 months of him promising to do so later, he goes, "Oh yeah, I've mailed it." Well, can you get me the tracking? 2 are free, I'll do that later responses, and he ghosts me, and the damn thing has never arrived, so most likely he never sent it in the first place, and if he did, it's now probably hopelessly lost in the mail a month later, but I'm pretty sure he just didn't send it. Flake! At any rate, I waited until a few days ago to basically get this thing working. He had been fighting a tough dog video issue, as he called it, for a number of years on this thing and never got it going. I only had to change one part to make this thing work and clean the tuner. And I shouldn't even say change the part. The reason why this thing didn't work is he clipped out all the positives on an electrolytic. He didn't install a replacement for one of the sections that he clipped out, and that section that he clipped out was the chassis ground to center of the voltage doubler for the B plus rail. So this set had the main B plus rail that supplies the flyback was very low, and it had a shit ton of AC ripple on it, so the picture was absolute garbage, and that was basically the root of his video issue. That and cleaning up the tuner and freeing up the fine tuning so it would move. And this set works like a champ. And that guy just doesn't know how to fix things. At any rate, this was an easy repair. Before I repaired it, I was actually dead set on getting rid of it for about what the picture tube's worth at the ETF. Now, half of me would like to restore this thing. I have no clue where I'm going to find the knobs it's missing. Two of the three sides of the cabinet need re-veneering thanks to this lovely amount of rot. There's also a little bit of structural stuff under here where re-gluing is necessary. And there's no back. You never had the back. But I could probably restore this thing and keep it. If someone wants to give me $250 for this set, given that it works and most of it's there, and this is an exceedingly rare television, especially here in the Midwest. Packard Bell was a West Coast brand, and they didn't sell a lot of sets in the Midwest. And being it's from '63, there weren't a ton of sales of color sets in this era either. And a small brand like them, this is a lot rarer than a CTC 10 or 11, which probably is about maybe 12, which is probably about the era this thing was in. This actually uses a 7 or 9, a CTC 7 or CTC 9 RCA chassis in it that's been modified by Packard Bell, or maybe I should say reworked by Packard Bell. The reason the cabinet is wider is because this sheet right here, this is a mounting plate. This is a mounting plate for an optional remote control assembly that would plug into these connectors. No Packard Bells were equipped from the factory with remote, but all of them were equipped from the factory to be remote ready, and all the dealers got remote control modules that they could install in new sets or even in existing sets. I believe they made this interface standard and compatible over a long number of years and large number of sets. And you could basically just have the dealer aftermarket install a remote control system designed by Packard Bell for their televisions at any point in time. Let's see here if I can get you a little bit of a look-see into the tubes and everything that's in here. The tube did take a bit of a whack at some point in its previous life, and this is the repair good old Nate did. I'd have personally desoldered the old base, stolen a base off of a brightener, and soldered that on. But to each their own. So yeah, this set is, it is what it is, and it's priced at a, if you want it bad enough to save me from myself having to restore this, go ahead. I'm kind of in the middle of the road on this thing. It's rare enough and I like it enough that I want to make it good and keep it. But it's also rough enough that I'd like to save myself the effort. So if someone gives me enough money, I'm happy to let this one go. Okay, enough of a rant about that thing. Unplug it so I'm not wasting power. Okay. We got a stack of UHF converter, signal booster, UHF converter. UHF converter sandwich. Or is it a signal booster sandwich? Either way, $15 a box. No clue what their operational status is. I've never plugged them in. I got them because they were cheap at some swap meet ages ago, and I've never done anything with them, and someone else can do stuff with them. And this white stuff here is a type of knob fungus that tends to grow on old plastics. You can scratch it off, or you can bathe it in warm soapy water or Windex, and it'll come right off. Let's see here. Center up there is a 7-inch Philco from 1950. It's an electrostatic deflection set. think I want $250 for it. It's in really, really nice condition, and I completely went through the chassis and got it working great. It's also a pain in the butt to get to, so I'm not going to power it on, and I'm only taking it down from that spot if a seriously interested buyer shows up. In the middle right there, that one little screen you can see, that's an 8-inch metal cabinet RCA. It's basically, if you stacked a bunch of 8 by 11 sheets of paper or magazines or what have you to how tall it is, that's basically the dimensions of it. It's super, super compact for a monochrome vacuum tube television set. Cabinet's painted gray. I went over the electronics a couple of Thanksgivings ago at the family cabin. I did a video on that hasn't been released yet, but I had started editing. Gotta release that someday. That was a pretty fun video to make. It can be yours for whatever the price I had in my listing. What else do I got here? I've got a number of picture tubes listed in my for sale listing. This is a 19 HCP 22. I've also got roundy tubes. I've got bigger rectangular color tubes. I've got a few monochrome tubes. All available. Price is listed. And this particular tube came from a portable set that someone decided to gut to put a modern CRT set inside. And I have the chassis for it, and it's listed among the parts chassis. It's like a 16Z8C something. Yeah, that's also available. I've got a number of parts chassis listed for quite reasonable if anybody needs a parts chassis. Oh, I've got this Channel 14 Blonder Tongue BAVMZ Agile Modulator. It's cable Channel 14, so it's not UHF. However, a Dumont RA103 will tune this in because this channel exists below channel 6, not below channel 6, below channel 7, and I believe above or at the upper end of the FM band? I think it's above the FM band. It's up in the gap region of VHF, basically. Between channel 6 and 7 on VHF, there is the entire FM broadcast radio band, and some other space that isn't really allocated to public services, I guess, public broadcast services, you would say. It basically transmits up in that range if you hook an antenna up to it, and you can have a secret, you can have yourself a secret Betty Page burlesque routine channel on your Dumont RA103 to impress your octogenarian buddies. I'm not selling this Zenith 16-incher that I've got, but if anyone has the correct channel knob for this thing, it uses, I've heard this is supposed to be 1 year only, this is a really small tuner shaft. Most shafts are 1/4-inch round bar, cut in half for the knob. This is like 1/8 inch. It's small. It is really small. I thought I had a knob for it. I can't locate a knob that fits it in my collection, so that is a Zenith knob. So if anyone has the correct knob, I would love to have it. Likewise, if anyone has the correct knobs and channel plate for this Packard Bell, Nate, please let me know and help me get my hands on them so I can put this thing together properly. Really, this is a set that deserves to be put together correctly, with the right parts and made look nice. We also have this RCA 8-inch broadcast monitor. It's kind of unlabeled on the front. I think it's like a TM9N or something like that. I went over this also at the cabin and at home. This thing fought me pretty hard. The deflection yoke on it, I believe I had to replace, and it kind of has some horizontal linearity issues with the new yoke, but it does function. It's a video monitor only. It has no audio circuitry, just composite input. Way down buried under here is a Sony U-matic VO1800 top-loading U-matic. It's from 1971, the first year U-matic by the inventor of U-matic, Sony. I think I was looking for $100 on it. Conditions unknown. It's probably been under this bench for 6 years doing nothing, so I have no clue if it runs right now or not. I'm not even sure if I tested it between buying it and putting it away, if I'm honest with myself. I almost am tempted to sell this. It's like a 17 or 19-inch remote, color Magnavox, but the remote's not working on it, and I really want to do a video fixing that remote up before I seriously contemplate turning this thing loose. Maybe fall or maybe next ETF I'll do that. The reason why I would contemplate turning it loose is I have this nice remote roundy Magnavox right here, and I think the roundy should be my keeper, even though it's a lot bigger. I like it better. It's also really deluxe, and I'm not going to find a roundy Maggie that deluxe again. I think that's the first roundy Maggie I've ever had a chance to buy. They're not common around here. Although I've seen a few of their rectangular sets in this area. Mostly gutted and messed up, which is sad. These round disco-looking speakers, trash can-looking speakers, whatever you want to call them. I've not actually tested them yet. If someone wants to pay me $100 for them, I'd probably let them go. I'm not dying to sell them either because they're kind of cool. Although, I haven't tried them yet, so if they sound terrible, maybe I will suddenly become eager to sell them. Got these two symphonic portable televisions. The bottom one has radio and cassette player. I don't know if it can record. Cool. Radio and audio cassette recorder built into it as well. They both work. I believe they both have battery compartments built in. There are also connections for external power supplies, DC power supplies. I don't have those power supplies, but I did mark positive with red on these so that if someone wants to build their own AC power supply to not use these on batteries, they can. I think I was looking for 35 for the little one and 55 for the big one. And here we have a JVC video camera. Not a camcorder, but a camera. Its original carry case. It's got its viewfinder that clips on. It's got an interesting little carry handle. And the camera itself. This was gifted to me, basically. Hey Tom, you're welcome to anything in the e-waste pile at work. And I was going to keep it and maybe try getting it going. I don't know if it works or not right now. Probably been sitting for a few decades, I would imagine. But I've kind of decided I don't want it anymore. I'm kind of mad at that place. They basically let me go, told me that they were laying me off due to a downturn in business. And then they turned around and tried to deny my unemployment claim when contacted by the State Department of Unemployment. And I had to fight that and to actually get my unemployment. And for reasons, I'm going to say that recently I looked through my spam email and found an email from them the day after they lost the dispute over whether or not I can get unemployment insurance, asking if I would come back to work for them. Yeah, they can pound sand, especially after the old-timer who knew what he was doing got ousted for his dumbass stepson who overbooks everything, rides people hard, asks them a million hard questions when they already don't have time to do the shit that they're supposed to be doing, and wastes a half an hour of their time and complains that nothing's getting done in a timely manner. There's a mild chance they might have actually had a valid let's call you back and find a way of screwing you out of your benefits. there's a mild chance they might have had an actual work reason. That project that I was on at the end, there's a good chance that the idiots that they still have working for them, who about half of them are joking about committing suicide, the working conditions there are so lousy. At least half of them that aren't part of the family that owns the place. At any rate, pretty much all those idiots probably couldn't duplicate what I was doing on that project, and they're probably having problems because tests are failing because they couldn't duplicate the tests I was doing with the idiots they had. So it's possible they had an actual valid reason to call me back, but even if that was the case, they pissed me off enough with that trying to deny my unemployment insurance nonsense that even if they were hurting, they can pound sand. You gotta treat your workers right if you want to keep them. Or if you want them to actually come back when you're in need. Buried back here, I have a blonde RCA CTC4 Seville. It currently has a all glass color CRT in it, but I've got the correct 21AXP22 laying around that I could pop into the set. Yeah, you can't really see it. I'll take some old pictures and try to add them into the video. This set, chassis is over here. Yeah, the CTC4 is basically a working set. The cabinet needs some serious repair. The bottom's warped like a boat, only upside down. I've got a spare bottom from a CTC4 Haviland cabinet that I'd been planning on splicing in that is nice and flat and would be a good replacement for the bowed bottom that's in it. Needs some veneer work and some other odds and ends things done to it. The chassis works, however, when I changed the resistors out about a year ago to work out most of the remaining bugs. I had ordered a large assortment that I thought was a 2-watt assortment until I figured out after I changed the resistors on this set that it was a 1-watt assortment. So there are a whole bunch of resistors on this chassis that are supposed to be 2-watt that have been replaced by 1 watts. And because of that, the chassis drifts after warm-up. Someone basically needs to go through all of the gray resistors that I installed and upgrade those resistors to the correct wattage. Planning on attending the Early Television Museum convention. These items are available locally in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, or can be delivered to the Early Television Museum convention and swap meet. May the 6th through 8th, I believe, the convention's held. I'll be attending Friday and Saturday, and most likely driving home Saturday in the afternoon or early evening. If you have interest in purchasing any of these items, please reach out to me. I doubt this will all fit in my truck, so if you want something to show up at the meet, ask about it now. All items are local pickup in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, or local pickup at the Early Television Museum. I don't ship and I don't do electronic payment. Show up with cash if you want them. Yeah, I think that covers everything I've got for sale. If you want to buy something, reach out to me through my Facebook listing, Video Karma, or through the Antique Radio forums. Those are the best places to reach me. Otherwise, post your email and I'll, or contact me you'll find out a way of contacting me if you want it bad enough. That's all for today's video. With luck, I have a, about 80-90% edited video on redoing a portable TV that maybe, just maybe, I'll have edited in time for releasing next Friday to go along with the ETF. I started on that a few months ago, and then a month and a half ago I dropped it for the 21CT55, and maybe I can pick it back up now. At any rate, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching.